Hey you! Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. I'm your host, SlowpokeFelitos, bringing you guys episode number 13, which means we have one more episode away from ending season 2 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show series. But before we get to that though, we have the one, the only, the former professional wrestler, the part-time streamer, and the full-time father. He is the Real Deal Castillo, stopping by this week's episode of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show series. A couple of emotional strings are actually pulled during our conversation where he talks about him being hate-rated and the fact that he had to retire from professional wrestling at a very early age. But there are some positives with this, though. We get to talk about him actually describing the story of him actually playing with a professional football player on his stream. And the best part of it all, at least for me, is he gets to talk about in depth about his relationship being affected because too much focusing on streaming. And I can relate to that in a personal level. But without giving away any more spoilers, and before we continue, I would like to give you guys the heads up where in order to keep the lights on here in the House of Slowpokes, it means so much to me. It would mean the world to me by liking the video, sharing it, and subscribing it. It will keep the lights on here in the House of Slowpokes here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show series. But without any further ado, we do happen to have the Real Deal Castillo stopping by here in the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show series for episode 13. Here we go, guys. Let's go! We finally have the Real Castillo here in the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Castillo! Hey, there you go. That's you. Turn around right here.
Hey.
Castillo, welcome into the show, my friend. How are you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, man. Thank you for having me. It's been we've been trying to get this going for a while, man.
Yeah, and finally into 2022, we finally got it down. I know you were a busy man, not only as a Twitch streamer, not only as a father, a husband, and working hard, as Dusty Rhodes once said, you know, like what do you call it? Real hard times, baby. I don't know. Do you know the quote?
Hard times, baby. The hard times.
There you go, man. And not only that, too, a former professional wrestler. And like, I had to rock the AEW gear because, you know, I'm
loving AEW right now. Like, I'll be honest, I haven't watched nothing WWE in the last pay-per-view.
No clue. But I haven't watched in 3 years. Ever since like the first during the pandemic for WrestleMania, yep. I was like, I had enough, dude. There's just some stuff that like the corniness of the storylines, the not pushing the main stars, but with AEW, it is totally different 180. Can you tell us, like with AEW, what is it that gravitates you? Because personally for me, it is the wrestling, the storytelling, and the fact that it is for the fans.
It's exactly that, man. It's for the fans. It's the storytelling. Like, you had a 2-year feud with Adam Page and Kenny Omega that just came to its end. Mm-hmm. The climax of it again. I've always been a big storytelling worker. Mm-hmm. So that's huge. I love CM Punk. A lot of people were going to hate me for that. They've hated me for that. But Ring of Honor was one of the first companies that, sadly, they're no longer doing anything.
Right.
But my first ever indie show was Ring of Honor. It was CM Punk, Danielson, and Samoa Joe.
Whoa!
So seeing the guys that helped me, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen,
yeah.
Get into professional wrestling and then evolving from that.
Exactly. And I feel like that AEW is here to stay when it comes to actually bringing new talent and former talent too. Like you mentioned the name there, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson. Like it kind of shows that like when people leave the business for so many years and are willing to come back for not only WWE, like there's a different organization, that speaks volumes, dude. So for you, Castillo, as you mentioned about like, you know, how these wrestlers have to actually help you like during your career, what was it that for you that made you want to start actually becoming a professional wrestler to begin with?
So funny story, man. Anybody that knows me, me and Shut Up Danny, TTV, shout outs. That's my little brother, blood brother.
Right.
I didn't have the goal to become a professional wrestler. I was all football. I wanted to coach football. I was coaching football for high school in the area here, and he goes, "Hey man, I found a pro wrestling school. I'm gonna go try it out." I was like,
"Huh?
Why are you gonna go do that?" Right? And he goes, "I don't know, man. I just always wanted to do it." And we always kidded about it when he was training and everything. I'd get in there, the trainer.
Right.
who later became my tag partner and my the godfather of my son,
Wow.
Chambers.
Right.
And he goes, "You want to take a bump, kid?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a bump." So I did it better than Danny, my first ever try. And he goes, "Why aren't you in here? Like, why are you here?"
Right.
Looking at Danny, and he goes, so it kind of formulated from that. Danny wrestled for a year, and then I wanted to invest money into the company that Danny was wrestling for.
Okay. And
the dude kind of Broadwayed me, like, "No, you don't know what you're doing." Blah 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 blah.
Why did it make that seem like that way? Was it the way you were, like, your characters, or the way you moved, or whatnot, or what was it?
I was like, "Hey man, I like your product. I want to invest $10,000 into your company." And he goes, "Well, what do you know about the wrestling business?" I was like, "Nothing. You can teach me."
Right.
So he didn't, and it actually caused Danny to get kicked out of the company.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so I started up my own company a year later, Northwest Ohio Wrestling.
Okay.
And I opened up a training school, and basically was the competition to that company. We did so well they closed down within 18 months.
That's a long time, though, for withstanding a company, and especially on your own too. That's crazy.
Right. But I went to local guys that have been in the business for a long time, that have worked dark for WWE, that have worked for Impact and Ring of Honor, and asked for advice to build the company. And I kind of, I attended all the practices just to watch. I'm the owner. I'm not supposed to be in this ring.
Right.
Finally got the old trainer from the old company to come over and be the trainer for mine. And then one day we're just talking, and we were actually talking about pay, and he goes, "Why don't you, just get in the ring, man? You seem like you know what you're doing." I was like, "I don't." And he goes, "I'll train you, man." I was like, "Well, you got to train the class." He goes, "Well, after class. I'll train you after class."
Oh, very cool.
I was like, "All right, man, that's cool." 9 months go by. He goes, "Hey, man, we got a tag booking." I go, "What? What are you talking about?"
Surprise.
He goes, "Yeah, you and me, we're gonna be a tag team, Deadly Alliance." We go down to Tennessee. First night there, my probably third match ever. I win my first tag title.
Whoa.
Yeah, company was it was terrible.
It's terrible.
Man, I'm talking about Rud Shot, middle of Tennessee.
Okay.
This was in a barn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wrestled for 5.5 years. Recently retired. I sold my company a year and a half ago. When my son was going through his medical issues. Because he comes first. We
Absolutely.
needed the money for the hospital, so I sold my company.
Right.
And then just recently, again, my family comes first, man. I chose to hang up the old kick pads and just focus on my newer job, and then streaming.
Man, that is kind of heartbreaking when it comes to having to hang your boots for being a wrestler, but at the same time, family does come first. And Castillo, I gotta ask you, because trying to fit all that in between, you did mention just right now being a Twitch streamer. Where the heck did that come from, with all that being invested in your life?
So I was kidding around with my buddy Tommy, Joe Blues Gaming.
Right.
We were playing. He was a wrestler as well. He retired a year before me.
Okay.
So that's how we met. We were just playing on Xbox one night when I was an Xbox person.
We don't want to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about that anymore on PC and PlayStation. So we were playing Call of Duty. He goes, "Yeah, man, why don't you, I've done Twitch for 5 years prior, took a break, and we're back." I go, "That's cool, man. I didn't know what Twitch was. I wish I did back in the when I was graduating high school. I think we'd be far better off where we are. But again, for circumstances, I used to do talent shows, singing in high school, so I've always had that entertain the audience. I've always been a performer. So that's why wrestling came so natural to me.
Right.
That's why Twitch streaming has come so natural to me, man. You know, just have a personality. That's it. You can come up on here and you can be a Dr. Disrespect, or you can be a Slowpoke. You could be RealDealCastillo.
That guy.
Know? Yeah. And that guy. And we were just messing around one night, and I turned the Twitch app on, and it lit up. One guy was watching me. I didn't know who it was, and talking to me, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was. But they liked how I was playing Call of Duty.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, you know, this might be something. So we transitioned over to PlayStation and talked my wife into buying, let me get a PlayStation. And I got the PlayStation camera. This is when we were really big into Overwatch.
Right.
So there was 5 of us in Jump Boost, and we were just playing every night.
Consistently.
Started with COVID. We were home.
Yeah, that probably played a big role.
Yeah, it played a huge role in streaming because we didn't have anything else to do.
Right. And I think with the progression as a Twitch streamer, like you start investing more money into it. I believe prior to this recording, we were talking earlier, and you mentioned about investing in a laptop, how much it costs, and like all the aspects of like the microphone, the headset, all that adds up, dude. Yeah,
my setup. I'm playing off of laptop right here.
Yeah.
With my webcam, my microphone, a PlayStation, a 22-inch TV, not even a monitor, PC monitor. But I got 2 of those for Christmas, so they're sitting behind waiting to be installed. Because I'm tech savvy? No, not at all. I'm a caveman.
Even the Discord part, where we're trying to set up the cameras, they're like, oh, what?
Yeah. You weren't here for that.
No. It was fun.
Yeah, that was gonna be terrible. I don't know what this does. I don't know what to do.
See, no, not being tech savvy, but like you are tech savvy not only as a Twitch streamer, but in the ring too, and as a father, and a loving husband and whatnot, and basically a full-time worker too as well. All that in retrospect, like what are the downsides having to put all the investment time for everything? Like, do you find that like really hard to struggle putting everything together? But even now that you're a retired wrestler.
Sometimes, man, it does. Me and the wife do butt heads some nights if I want to try to get some extra stream time in.
Yeah.
But it's more me having to I have to realize her needs.
Yeah.
And that's the husband side of it, and then the father side of it. I will admit I've done poor doing this. She's sitting right next to me too. And we've always had this. We talk better now about everything. And being more available.
Right.
That's why when I'm not working, my 9 to 5 or whatever, and I'm home during the day, I'm streaming a little bit more. I have more time to do things like this. But then I'm also available if she needs me to be, or my son needs me to be. So it's a little rough to put everything scheduled.
Yeah.
I'm more of a go with the flow kind of guy. But man, it's just make sure that everything is taken care of before the extra.
Yeah, as a Twitch streamer, sometimes it can actually be kind of addicting because like you're just like get that high of like people are tuning in and you're probably in the zone for gaming and stuff, and then like you get lost into it, and of course like not a whole lot of people really actually take attentive to like it might people that are around you, like your wife, my Mrs. Slowpoke. Like there have been times where like we've butted heads too as well. It's just like, well, are you like the amount of time you're investing into setting up your streams and investing scheduling and whatnot? How can can't do that with us? Like what is it going to take where like you take me on a date or like we go out for a coffee or why can't we do that you're so invested in this. Why can't you implement that towards us? And you get lost in that cycle of like, being on stream, focus on that. And for you, Castillo, not being able to like, have a consistent schedule and being able just to go with the flow or however it is, like wing it and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that you're highlighting this too, because people tend to shy that away and thinking that it's perfect outside of it. But you, Castillo, like you shining the light on it is really, really awesome, dude.
And that's the thing, man. Like, you don't want to try to hold those things in, because it's bad. It is.
Yeah.
It's terrible to hold those emotions in, and especially if you can communicate with your partner better.
How you mentioned about like scheduling too, with being a Twitch streamer and like going with the flow and like winging it. Has that taken a toll in like your streaming quality? Like, it's like, do you have people actually trying to gravitate normally towards your streams, or is it kind of like a hiccup where like it's like 1 viewer here, 5 viewers here?
So it is very hiccupy, because I usually streamed at nights.
Okay.
But with the new job, I work retail.
Right.
They want someone full time, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I've never truly worked that schedule before, so streaming at night is almost non-existent unless I'm off at like 5 or 6 o'clock and everything's good at home. So my 10 to 12 people that was on for nights aren't here in the morning, and it's more rolling with the punches now. As you've seen earlier, we did get a nice little raid, and people actually stuck around for it.
Right.
So it's more or less competing with the Madden streamers that are in the mornings now, which are a lot of your the higher up guys, your top 100 guys are there. So competing with them, who's got 20,000 viewers, and then me not so well known on the scene yet.
Right.
Trying to muscle my way into, but hey, realize who I am, or recognize me, acknowledge me. So it is tough. It is. But I try to put as much free time into streaming as possible.
Yeah. Do you actually think that like with social media, it actually does have it plays a huge role when it comes to actually discovering yourself? Because with Twitch, the algorithm, how you mentioned, it's really hard to get discovered, and especially when you have tens of thousands of people trying to play Madden and stuff like that. How do you actually like squirm your way to the top? Like it's frustrating sometimes.
The one thing that's helped me recently, man, there's one of the bigger streamers. He's actually an NFL player. Davion Evans from the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
He had a stream, and he was like, "I will play anybody that subscribes to this channel." And I go, "No, I'll subscribe. Play me." And we had a really good game. He knows who I am. Yeah.
Awesome.
We went to overtime. He beat me. But he goes, "Hey, man, I haven't had one of these games in a long time. Like, I'm watching people. He's putting them down.
Right. And
I'm over here taking them to overtime, last second field goal." He followed me back on Twitter, which I was like, oh, this is a big guy if I'll be following me.
Damn, fangirling, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, let's see if I can get Luke Holmes now. Shoot for the stars.
Right, yeah.
I think the last couple months I've been the most I've ever been on Twitter, more than Facebook and Instagram.
That's your go-to.
Yep, Twitter, because you get to interact with them. They respond to you, and they're actually looking for conversation with their community. I'm terrible with Discord. I feel I need someone to help me with my Discord, making it run better.
Right.
Because I've neglected it. But social media itself is a great tool. But also going into YouTube streams and Twitch streams and communicating, letting yourself be known in chat, get to know each other, like the communities that you want to be a part of.
Right.
Just let them know that you're there, and just be active. Yeah.
And especially with like how you mentioned with raids and communities, like you take your communities and you raid people. Like, there have been great occasions where like you, sir, have raided my channel from time to time. And I got to ask you this, where like, how does one like get that special treatment of being able to rate somebody where like you trust your community and this specific person, and I'm gonna roll with them and see how that goes? Like, what does it take for that?
So for me, man, it's like if I don't know who you are, It's very seldom that I will go like, well, let's go try this new guy. I don't know who it is. I try to go with the faithful that I watch, that I interact with. I met a lot of people through Jessica's, her streams and her community. That's where we met.
Exactly. Yes.
And I will say that you're on my top 5 list. Even the Twitch, the email said it.
No way.
So you're like one of my top 5 on Twitch that I tuned into, and I always try to support. Man, I love the House of Slowpoke. For me, if I know who you are, I follow your channel, and you have not a low view count, but you have a nice little following, or your stream's just starting off, I'm gonna try to get them in there at the beginning. Like, I always try to get them in your stream at the beginning. That way they get all the chaos, all of it right then and there.
Right, yeah.
And then, if I'm playing Madden, I try to stay to Madden. If I'm playing Fortnite or something, I'll go to one of you guys.
Right.
And just my friends in the community. So I'll try to go to my friends first if you guys are online. If not, then I go to someone else that's I'm following. And then if all else fails, and I'm like, let's do somebody random today.
Yeah, and of course, like when choosing someone to raid, there could be hit or misses depending on like who you're raiding at. But like, has there ever been a time when you raided somebody and it went completely sideways?
Oh, plenty. I think thanking the raider for bringing their community over is important. There was one time, actually a few times, that. And this is why I very seldom do new people, like newer, that I don't know. Because they don't think the raider, they don't ask questions. Like, I like to talk in Twitch chats. Like how was your day? What game did you play? That's my one streaming turn off, is not acknowledging the community that's coming in.
Yeah, that should be like a Twitch etiquette 101. It's just like, if you have someone that really like, took the time to like pump you up in their stream to be like, hey, you know what, check this person out, and you just deflate them with like a not even how you mentioned acknowledging them to begin with. Following up with that, has there ever been a time where, at least for you in your streams, where like, I don't know, you've been raided, or like someone came in the chat and like kind of like, started like berating you in a sense, or the viewers?
Yeah, actually, yeah. One of the TikTok guys. I won't give him any press.
No, for sure. We'll keep him out.
But he came into my stream with 150 people.
Whoa!
I was playing Call of Duty. He goes, "Why are you playing this trash game? You're such a better gamer than this." Blah 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 blah.
Right.
This game is for low IQ people. I'm like, man, like, come on, like. I get it if that's how you talk in your stream, but that's not. I had 15 people in mind that don't know who you are. Probably don't even care to know now.
Yeah.
But I still made an effort to communicate with him, and then he just like messaged me one day and goes, "Yeah, man, I probably won't be back to your stream if you're going to be playing this. Like, I'm trying to give this, give you a nod, and you're playing trash games." I'm like, "Look, man, all right, cool." And then I unfollowed him.
As you should.
Yeah, like that. Like, that's the one thing about the gaming community. Like, I love it that the bigger streamers like try to give back as much as possible. They don't have to. Nobody.
No, they don't.
No one needs to raid you. Nobody needs to check you out. But if they're taking their time to come do so, it means something to me.
The negative aspect when it comes to like gaming on Twitch, like as you mentioned that right now with your story that you shared, like that's got to be pretty tough to almost like when you're live and experience that. That's pretty. That probably hurts the feels, dude. Like my heart sank for you just right now about that. Like,
it did. Live time, it did, because I, like if I follow you on social media or TikTok or anything, man, it means I hold you to a. Like, this guy's a good dude. Like, I want to be friends with him. And then you come in and do something like that. It's like, is that really who I want to be associated with? That kind of like my judgment kind of just went, okay, I deserve that, being too open to newer people and these bigger streamers.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, cool. I'm chalk it up, move on.
Yeah, only because too that like it's more of an experience that like people should share these kind of stories because you just never know who might go through it something worse where like they might take it as a really more negative aspect and like they might hurt themselves or like they might think they're not worthy and stuff. For someone who's relatively new into streaming, what kind of advice at least that's leading towards that would you give someone streaming for the very first time?
If you're a new streamer, enjoy yourself. Don't worry about the numbers. Play what you want to play. Play what you want to. That makes you enjoy your time. If you're enjoying yourself and people see you enjoying yourself, that's how you grow a community. Because people will flock to that positivity. Don't let streaming stress you to the point where you have negative feeling towards streaming. That's my biggest one.
Yeah, because especially like this being like a hobby of choice in a sense to begin with, if you start treating it like a chore, then the love and the passion will be gone. Was that implemented towards your wrestling career too, as you mentioned earlier in your conversation about being retired? Not only with your son, having to take care of him first or whatnot, but the love and the passion, did that get lost in that aspect too as well?
No, I still love professional wrestling. If I could be performing every weekend again, I would.
Right.
But it's not in the cards. I can't dedicate time to going to the gym as much or going to a solid a training school. My body hurt forever. I have knee problems. I have metal in my hand. I don't know.
Wow, yeah, that's a scar on your arm, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like
wow.
Nice little bracket in there. A nice 2-pound bracket in my arm that someone messing up a swanton bomb and landing on my arm while I'm trying to get up.
Oh, imagine a 200-300 pounder landing on your arm and breaking it. Oh my!
It wasn't even 200 pounds. It was probably 150 pounds.
And that did it. What?
Snapped it.
Oh my god! Snapped.
Got up, finished the match, which you're not supposed to. Just being tired. Because I'm not in the best shape. In wrestling shape, I'm in great shape. But in athletic shape, I'm not. Not at all. But I still love wrestling. Again, I would be back in the ring tomorrow if needed to.
In the future cards for you, do you think once your son's a little older, or depending how stable you are, would you want to get back in the ring due to the fact that that'd be pretty cool for him to see like, wow, that's my dad?
Well, and that's the thing. I recorded almost every match that I've ever had, so he's gonna be able to see me do that regardless. I don't know, man.
Because there is a difference between watching all the old videos and then watching you perform live.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If there was one match, it would be me versus Danny. That way he can see his dad and his uncle beat the crap out of each other. But again, we both kind of stepped away from wrestling, so it's like we lived the dream. We were champions in different states, multiple states at the same time, for some nice companies. So would I want it to come back into it now, where if I go to a training school, I work out, I lose weight, tone up a little bit, and get a chance to go to AEW for dark matches like my friends? I'd love that. Shout outs to Sam Beal, Impact Wrestling, and Jason Hotch with AEW Dark.
Okay.
Both Toledo boys, Rossford. They're doing big things in professional wrestling. Trey Miguel, Impact Wrestling,
yeah.
Yep, my brother. So I can rule out a potential return to wrestling. I don't have the time to do it. I like the job that I have now. I like the time that I have now. I'm not traveling 6-7 hours every weekend in a car to wrestle for 2 hours.
Yeah. For someone who as stepping into someone's shoes that never watched professional wrestling or casually watches and stuff like that, people don't really think about that. People just think, oh yeah, you turn on the TV and there's people in the ring, the wrestling, and then that's it. The aspects of the traveling, you mentioned about the pains and aches, the broken bones that you've happened to have and everything, like that all takes a toll. Like I think that's like the dark side or like the negative side of it, or like maybe like not, I want to say that, but like it's just like it's the things that come along with the whole total package of like being a professional wrestler. But what do you say are the positives that come out of that, though?
That kid in the third row, seeing him smile or boo me, knowing that I can draw that kind of emotion out of a child, like they had me draw that emotion from me, makes my day. When a kid comes up, hey man, you were my favorite wrestler, take a picture with me. You got it. And I'm the bad guy. Like, am I supposed to take a picture with this kid? Parents are laughing. He's laughing. I don't know, kid. You're gonna have to slide me $1 or something. Messing around with him, and keep your money, man. Take a picture with me.
Aww.
Just making people fans of you. Not like that means I'm doing my job correctly. You can do it for the money. There's no money in indie wrestling. I've done matches for $20 and had to pay out of my own pocket to get home or to eat.
Right.
Or there were some nights that we didn't get paid at all because the company's just crap. And they're like, "Yeah, we were short at the door, brother. We're not paying tonight."
That's some stingy shit, man.
Yeah, like, all right, well, I drove 4 hours for nothing. Cool. You know what I mean? So, if I could take any of the positives out of that, it's seeing those kids' reactions and the fans' reactions to you as a performer, knowing that they appreciate you for doing your job.
And now, some slowly but surely rapid fire questions.
Are you ready?
No. Yes.
Ring the bell. What is an overrated movie that people really love and you're just like, I don't get the deal with it?
I got 5 that are like right there.
Please name all 5.
Star Wars series, Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future. I didn't really enjoy Avatar.
You need one more, my friend.
Iron Man, the first Iron Man. I didn't like it.
Wow, that's how can you say such a bold statement but be so controversial? What?
Those 5 they're headhunting me, man. After this, we're done with Castillo. Just killed my whole following right there.
What is the worst dish you've ever cooked?
Spaghetti. Mom, spaghetti. Because I burnt it.
You burnt spaghetti? What?
Yep.
How?
I left it in the pot too long. Ruined noodles. Like, they were brown like black noodles at the bottom.
Oh my god.
I think I just ran out of water.
Have you tried it ever since?
No.
Oh.
I let my wife do it.
What is the worst fast food joint experience?
Steak and Shake. My wife was 8 months pregnant and they cooked unprepared chicken.
What?
Yep. And tried giving it to her. And I was like, yeah, you're trying to kill my wife and my son. I'm good. You're lucky I don't blow this whole place up.
Name me your top 5 professional wrestlers.
CM Punk, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Dusty Rhodes.
To you, what is an overrated maneuver in professional wrestling that you just can't stand watching?
The Canadian Destroyer. Because it's supposed to be a finish. For 8 years, they hit that move. It's done. Now it's you hit that move, you kick out at 1, get up and hit another one. And kick out at 2. I'm just not a fan of it. Can I sit like 50-50 with the super kick? The super kick's way overdone. It has always been overdone.
Sorry, Young Bucks.
I blame the Young Bucks.
What is the worst place you've ever wrestled at?
Dyersburg, Tennessee. DXW in the shed, winter time. No heat, 10 people.
In the winter?
Yep.
What?
Probably about 17 degrees.
Now, what is actually the best place you've ever wrestled at?
And this is gonna be hard to believe, man.
Okay.
It was out in Connecticut.
Okay.
And this is actually the show that I broke my arm. It was 1,000 people.
Whoa, that's a lot, man.
Hot house. Amazing match up until the last 10 seconds.
Right.
Literally, it was the go home spot. Him hit a move, miss it. I get up, hit it. 1, 2, 3. Landed on my arm, broke my arm, hit him with the opposite arm, knocked him out. of the mat.
You knocked him out.
I knocked him out.
Oh,
His head bounced off the mat.
Oh
He went
my
to sleep. Like, and I'm over here like, oh, all right, well, my arm's broke. I don't know what to do. Help. But one of the best crowds, locker rooms, companies I've ever worked for. It was a shame that it was my one and only time.
As we're winding down, Real Deal Castillo, can you tell me something when it comes to streaming here on Twitch, where if there's ever been a time when someone has come up to you in the chat, venting to you about like maybe like I don't want to say like dumping their feelings or whatnot or what's going on through their lives, but like in that aspect, does that ever affect your streams at all, or are you just like, hey, we just don't talk about that?
So I try to make sure that my streams are a safe place. If anything's ever bothering anybody, my DMs on all social medias are always open. Mm-hmm. Especially around the holiday times. I know it's tough with people losing parents, family, loved ones, children, not having, especially with COVID going around. I think it's been a monumental step for content creators that have a big following, or a normal following, whatever size following, to ensure to their community that, hey, you're welcomed here, you're loved. Anything that you need to get off your chest, don't sleep on it. Like, my DMs are always open.
Right.
I will say I had 9 Discord messages, 3 Facebook messages, 2 Instagram. Just, people venting.
Right.
And I use my friends as venting tools as well. Like, I need to be able to, if I'm having a bad day at work, streaming, stuff at home, just someone of more experience and or deal with the same stuff that I've been through.
Right.
Especially with stuff when my son was sick. That was a huge step to just message somebody like, hey, I'm not all right. But always try to reassure your audience that you're open to let them vent and be an ear and be mindful to their situation. So yeah, I always try to, I stress that so much to make sure that they feel welcomed and accepted. Yeah,
because as a Twitch streamer, that kind of has, someone might not even recognize this, but you're kind of like a big deal to some people. Like, you never know who you're inspiring or who's looking up to you, and if they come to you and like, try to vent to you to some sort, to whatever's happening in their lives, that's got to be something heavy for you to actually feel that, like, almost honored that, like, wow, I am just a random person online and you're willing to talk to me about this. Yeah, let's chop it up. And some people don't really like that, surprisingly. We're just like, hey, you know what, let's just keep it cool here, or we'll probably talk on the side somewhere else. So like, what do you say to people that like do actually push people away, like, hey, you know what, let's not talk about that kind of stuff?
I don't see a point to it, man. We're all human. It doesn't matter how much money you make or where you came from, where your lifestyle, you're accepted, right? You have to make sure, and that's my biggest piece of advice to those the bigger streamers, like, without your community, you're no one.
That is absolutely
without
correct.
Those people that are tuning in, that are giving you money, like, they might just need someone to listen to, and they trust you. Like, why would you push them away?
Yeah, like, basically your audience, your community builds, you as a whole. And if you tend to forget and get lost in the shuffle with like the revenue and stuff like that, it's all going to be tumbling down. Yeah. So really, do not ever forget where you come from. And I think Castillo, almost hitting 1,000 followers for you, man, like, you've come such a long way, especially with like having to deal with like your son's situation, with your family, and like, with wrestling and on the side and everything like that too, as a main staple of like, who you are. And like, even when like I was tuning into your streams, like, you would display that, like, hey, you know what, if this is your first time tuning in, I'll play a little clip of who I am and stuff. You had a really cool little montage of like, being able to showcase who you were and stuff like that. Like, nowadays, as a retired professional wrestler and just a streamer, and like, you're working hardworking and loving father and husband. And how is it now as a transition? Has that really sunk in where, like, you know what, that's in the past for me now? Or like, is it still kind of like haunting your mind in a sense?
I think the only reason why it would be haunting my mind, and I'll hold this to it as it's true.
Right.
I didn't get to go out the way I wanted to go out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to put over people I wanted to put over. I didn't get to work people I wanted to work.
Mm-hmm.
I always said my last match would be my little brother, because without him, essentially, I wouldn't have done wrestling.
Right.
I feel like I wouldn't say forced out of professional wrestling, but
Mm-hmm.
circumstantial.
Yeah.
Very. Again, I think it will always be a question or a everlasting feeling in my gut that, hey, if you'd be able to commit to this a little bit more rather than streaming, this could have been something you could have pursued and succeeded, or you would have failed and then lost streaming. It's always going to be a battle, man, and I try not to let it dictate my day to day. So, I just say it is what it is, and I will roll with the punches how they go.
Yeah.
And whatever is in store, whatever's in the cards, will come to fruition.
Absolutely. And going like here in 2022, what is it like a small goal for you that you're looking forward to complete, and the big goal for the year 2022?
So, and here's the funny thing, man. Like in January of 21, I was sitting at 400 followers, and my goal was every month try to upgrade by 25.
Doable.
You know, 25 followers a month isn't terrible.
No, it's doable.
Yeah, it's doable, especially if you're consistent, and you're doing what's right by your community. So to be almost at 1,000 is more than I could have ever asked for at this point. So again, my goals for 2022. And man, it's crazy that we're in 2022. It just the last couple years have flown by.
Yeah.
So you know, I want to make 2022 the year that I solidify and I break that 10 viewership, that 10-person viewership constantly. Because I've always been around the 5 to 8 viewership, but now with transitioning the schedules, I feel that's a good goal to be above 10 by the halfway point of 2022. Like the subs, they're fine. I put a sub goal up. That's just how I've been advised to do it, just to keep a tally.
Right.
Viewership means more to me than a sub. A sub will be there if you feel guided to do so. So my goal, again, 25 viewers a month moving out. Hopefully by the end of the year we're at 1,500. We'll take it as it is, man.
Yeah, that's huge for you, Castillo, and I'm really proud of your work and the way you're an open book, as you always mention that you're an open book. Whatever comes to mind, that any questions for you to, especially after this podcast episode, where you are more than welcome to have people come on by. Hey, any Twitch questions, wrestling questions, how to father figure like lessons, stuff like that. One quick thing I want to ask you, as a father, what's something you can actually give people an advice? Probably first-time fathers or like people that have not been so much into their children's life. Like, what's something that you could probably spread as an inspiration? Or
take the time to actually be with them in patience. You know what I mean? You get this once. You get this stage of life once. Some might get multiple children. Me and my wife have talked. We're good with one. So, I get him being a baby once. So I want to make sure that I'm cherishing every moment of that. If he wakes up in the middle of the night, I'm always up with him because I want to be.
Right.
He's my little guy, man. And everybody that tunes into my Twitch streams, if he's here, he's here.
Mm-hmm.
He loves these lights. He loves green and purple. He'll make me change it on demand. My TikToks, there's TikToks of him doing it. Right. He'll come in here, he'll watch, he'll pay attention to who's in chat and look at the camera, and he's the star of the show, man. He takes over. It's not Castillo anymore, it's Colton. He'll come in and he'll run rub shot. But that's something I want to if something I can build, is a Twitch legacy of that, where once I'm done playing video games, I can change the name on here to whatever he wants, and he can take over and he can do his thing. But then more of a generational thing. You know, you got me once,
right?
And then now you got him. He can do his thing, and hopefully the fan base and community takes to him like they've done to me. So no, it's just building, man. Maybe one day I have 10,000 followers and they're like, hey, I like your kid. We're going to be here for him. You know, cool. You take what I did and make it tenfold.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's really heartwarming. And I love that I asked that for you, because like you just, again, you just never know who you're inspiring, Castillo. So I appreciate you taking the time to answer all these questions, and open honestly too. Whether it was, all we talked about throughout this episode. But I got to give you the floor here. This is where moment in time where you let people know, who you are, where you stream at, what upcoming projects are coming in fruition here for 2022. So please, Real Castillo, the floor is yours.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Robert Lopez, a.k.a. The Real Deal Castillo. You can find me here on twitch.tv/RealDealCastillo. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All the links are below. The tags are all below. My goals for 2022, and we actually started this campaign earlier. The hospital that helped save my son's life, Toledo's Mercy's Children's Hospital and the Columbus Children's Hospital, are going to be my two big targets for 2022.
Okay.
And that's raising funds by donation. And each month I will match each donation total with my Twitch payout if I get one. Mm-hmm. And then, continue making a positive influence on the communities that I'm involved with.
Such inspiring goals that for sure will come to fruition here in 2020 for you, Castillo. Like, I'm rooting for you 110%, dude. I'm so glad that I got to know you from Jess's community, and of course big shout out to her, because without this, like, we would have never met, and sharing the love for professional wrestling, I would have gotten to know Danny and all the boys too, man. And like, of course, I'm not a big fan of Madden, but when I tune into your streams, it's like I'll bear with it because I love what you do. You know what I mean? Like, you're a friend. It's like I came over to your house and just kicked back on the couch and I'm watching you play, dude. It's kind of like that, and like how you can keep people attentive to, and just kick back and chill, because at the end of the day, we're all human, as you mentioned. Yeah,
man, and that's the big thing, because I call my community the kickback crew.
Right.
And that's just grab a drink, relax, pop me up on your phone, laptop, device, whatever. You ain't even gotta be listening. If you got me up, that's cool. I appreciate you. But if you're tuning in intently, you're getting into the game with me. Like I said, like you said, you might not like Madden, but you tune in. I appreciate that, man. More than you ever know.
Absolutely.
And I do the same thing. I tune in other people's stuff that I don't like this game, but they're on. I'm gonna support them. It's a big. You don't know what that does for someone. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you having me on. And again, shout out to Jess for building a beautiful community with such amazing souls. Like I said, man, I'm honored, privileged to have you as a friend and a colleague. And You got some big things coming up in 2022, man. I can't wait to see them.
Looking forward to it, man. That's going to do it for us here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. I've been your host, SlowpokeFelitos. I am a part-time streamer, part-time alcoholic, a seasonal Catholic, an official Lego builder license holder, and the host for the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. This has been the RealDealCastillo. Here you can find him all the social media links down below. Genuine human being. I love this guy, and I can't wait to see you complete your goals for the year 2022. That's going to do it for us here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Adios, everybody.